I'm in my 50s and I've already had my left hip resurfaced, all because I was fit enough to handle an excessive training workload. Every session I smashed it just because I can, racked up miles on the clock that I didn't feel until decades later. You don't have to choose between getting the best out of your body when you're younger and staying in the game when you're older in great nick. So, young guns, listen up, and OGs, buckle up. Whoa. Although I've trained in martial arts since I was 18, I didn't start fighting until I was 32, and I finally retired from competition at 40 because of surgery on a broken elbow. I started fighting late because I didn't have a fight coach, a corner team, or ringcraft. My first time in a boxing ring was in my first fight. But in my first year, I won 3 titles at 3 different weights. By 34, I selected for England and won a European silver medal. By 40, I was pro rank number 4 in the UK. All that to say, I've been at this a long time and my approach to training has evolved significantly from outright wasteful and dangerous to highly efficient and ruthlessly effective. If I'd stuck with the old school approach I began with, then I wouldn't have been able to train past 30, let alone begin a competitive fight career. You don't need to kill yourself every session to perform your best. You do it by stepping your training workload through blocks, typically 3 weeks of stepping up, followed by 1 week of stepping back. Then rinse and repeat, climbing ever higher, month after month, year after year, without wasting effort or collecting avoidable damage. This approach is simply what strength and conditioning pros and sports scientists call periodization, planned progressive training. The problem is you don't get to plan all your own training. Stepping through your S&C work in these training blocks is easy, but your Muay Thai classes, that's different. After my last video, a fighter asked me, if someone else is programming your group sessions, how can you preserve long-term health? The solution is self-regulation. You have to throttle back within a class according to the intensity you've planned for that week. Holding back in a class sounds like a wasted session. It is if you do it wrong. Let's show you how to do it right. If you're following a good strength and conditioning program, the low, medium, high, and deload week progression is handled. But to manage any group sessions within this framework, you'll need to personalize things on the fly yourself. Here's how. On low week, work through at roughly an average RPE of 7 out of 10. Medium week, 8. High week, 9 to 10. And deload while cruising at about 6. This doesn't mean your whole session sits at this blanket level. You can still go to a 10 on some drills, even on a deload week. The goal is that your perception of the effort for the session in retrospect average out roughly where you'd planned it to be. Watch Thai's training in Thailand and you'll notice they don't give it 100% all the time. They couldn't. Most of the time, they're holding back so they can make it through the week. They pick the moments they'll display full intensity, usually to impress their trainers. And the rest of the time, they tend to sandbag it. They've been doing this since they were kids. They know the long game. Now you might be thinking, isn't working a 6 or 7 out of 10 a waste of time? No, because there's another training variable running in parallel to your personal intensity scale. Skill. The highest possible quality of your technique is inversely proportional to your intensity level. The harder you work, the more ragged your form becomes. I think of it as a dial running from minimum to maximum intensity. As I dial up intensity, technique goes from sharpest to most ragged. Think of your Muay Thai training like this. When the intensity is lower, your technique must be 100%. That means perfect balance before, during, and after each technique. It means effective footwork and range control. It means doubling down on your fight IQ to read your opponent and set traps. For example, on low week, you add extra footwork to the combination drill that the class is working on. You start slightly out of range, execute the combo, then angle off and back out of range. You amplify real-world technical skill while reducing intensity by buying more recovery time. This is smart training with a direct carryover in the ring. In training, if you're dialing back intensity, you must dial up skill. You've no excuse to be sloppy. In sessions where the physical demand is lower, the cognitive demand fills the gap. And it's in this gap you'll make the biggest technical breakthroughs, the kind you'll never see going all out all of the time. You're periodizing your skill training, and most fighters don't exploit this. Build better skill while less fatigued, and progress to sessions that test that new skill at the ragged edge. Tough training, technique under fatigue. Having a session RPE in mind is how you achieve that, even in group classes, and even when your periodized plan is completely different to anyone else in the class. This doesn't mean going easy on yourself. It simply means knowing when to push and when to hold the minimum effective dose. Much like the fight itself, Don't go all out from the first bell and expect to make it beyond round 3, let alone all the way to round 5. The aim is to sustain progress without sacrificing long-term health or messing up the fight camp you're working toward. Only you know your total workload, including supplemental S&C, lifestyle load with work and family, your competitive schedule. And none of that is the same as the person next to you in class. You need to manage your own peak and taper within your personal context. You don't have to end up in the boneyard of mismanaged, discarded fighters, the ones who went 100% every session and are now sidelined or completely done. Thailand is full of them too. By taking responsibility for your own training workload, even in group sessions you haven't planned yourself, you get the best of both. Teammates, the group dynamic, novelty, and challenge are all still on tap, but needless wear and tear is minimized. You can figure out if your training is making you better or wearing you out. Take the free Muay Thai performance scorecard linked in the description. Your target RPE is the driving number, but the principle underneath it is the key. You can control far more than you think. You can stop letting the room, the coach, the culture dictate your intensity all the time. And in doing that, you train longer, break down less, and keep getting better in the years when other fighters are already done. To understand how to cycle those weekly training blocks over a full optimal training cycle, watch this next.